man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You cannot bark all day. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. What's in it for me? Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk.
Who wants some?
Don't provoke me. No,
You gonna give me orders?
I'm a bad man.
Been waiting on you.
Don't waste my time.
This better be good.
What's in it for me? Walk the walk.
Armed and ready.
You cannot bark all day.
By the
Don't waste my time. A man's gotta do what a man's...
been waiting on you.
I'm a bad...
You gonna give me orders?
You cannot bark all day.
Who wants some?
Don't provoke me. You can't...
Armed?
Don't waste my time. I didn't hear no magic.
Been waiting on you. Keep your shirt on, Sparky.
I'm a bad man. You can't fix stupid.
Armed and
Don't waste my time. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever.
you gonna give me orders?
You cannot bark all.
This better be good.
Don't provoke me. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair Jim.
By the numbers, boys. Why not?
I'm a bad man. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Been waiting.
You cannot bark all day. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word.
You gonna give me orders?
Don't provoke me.
Want some?
You cannot bark.
By the numbers.
That's what's in it for me.
This better be good. Why not? Will do. Orders received.
You cannot bark all day.
By the numbers.
Don't waste my time.
Who wants some? Oh yeah.
You cannot bark all day.
Armed and ready.
You cannot bark all day. Okay, armchair general.
This better be good.
You cannot bark all day. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear them.
By the numbers, boys.
Don't waste my time.
Been waiting on you.
What's in it for me?
Armed and ready.
I'm a bad man. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Unlock.
I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Add in here no magic word. You can't fix stupid. What's in it for me? This better be good. Don't waste my time. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Add in here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Add in here no magic word. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Add in here no magic word. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Add in here no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. Add in here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Add in here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Add in here no magic word. Whatever it takes. Add in here no magic word. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Add in here no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Add in here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Add in here no magic word. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Add in here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. That isn't here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix it. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. That isn't here no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. That isn't here no magic word. Whatever it takes. You can't fix. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. That isn't here no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. That isn't here no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. That isn't here no magic word. Full auto. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. That isn't here no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. Can I bark all day? A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. That isn't here no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Full auto. You can't fix stupid. That isn't here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. That isn't here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. That isn't here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. That isn't here no magic word. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. That isn't here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. That isn't here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. That isn't here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Walk magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. I'm a bad man. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do fix stupid. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. You armchair general. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general.
Why don't you join me?
I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Shut up and die. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Add in here no magic word. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. Add in here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. Add in here no magic word. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Add in here no magic word. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Walk the walk. Add in here no magic word. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. Add in here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. Add in here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Whatever it takes. Add in here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. Add in here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Okay, armchair general. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Add in here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You cannot bark all day. Whatever it takes. Add in here no magic word. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. You can't fix stupid. Add in here no magic word. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Don't waste my time. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Add in here no magic word. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Add in here no magic word. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Walk the walk. Add in here no magic word. Whatever it takes. You can't fix stupid. Okay, armchair general. Add in here no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. magic word. Walk the walk. You can't fix stupid. Whatever it takes. I didn't hear no magic word. Walk the walk. Okay, armchair general. I didn't hear no magic word. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Whatever it takes. Okay, armchair general. Walk the walk. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. I didn't hear no magic word. You can't fix stupid.
Victory!